let's put it this way. Yeah, it wasn't just an office visit.
Huh?
Yeah.
Can you talk about it?
Sure.
All right. Bring it up.
All right.
Well, all of that reminded me of this song.
Oh, no.
Oh, you know what? It should have been this song. This is a song I should have pulled up.
I'm scared.
You remember this song?
My God, Becky,
look at her.
It is so big. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends. Who understands those rap guys? They only talk to her because she looks like a total
prostitute.
Okay? I mean, her butt, it's just so big. I can't believe it's so round. It's like out there. I mean, bro.
That's what I should have.
I remember it well.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. And by the way, all I put in was Sir Mix-a-Lot.
He only had one song.
Yeah, back in the day. But for some reason, you might not even know the name of the song, but this is what I'm going to play. You ready to rock and roll?
Yep, let's do
it. I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, you're going to think it's have been stolen. But don't worry. I'm here to help you get it back. You may be self-destructing at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, just like the woman on the other mic. This Gina Grad. Yeah. How you doing, Gina?
Good. I'm trying to figure out what this song is.
Well, that was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Ray Vaughan, not Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Right.
Yeah. And the song was called Scuttlebutton. And for whatever reason, I was thinking about what we were talking about was just Scuttlebutton.
It was.
Yeah. So
and it involved my scuttlebutton.
Yes, it did. You want to talk about that on the air? Can we?
Yeah, why not?
Because it could be a public service for other people.
100%. In fact, when on the radio, when I was doing mornings, my co-host went and got the procedure done, and we called him while he was still loopy on his anesthesia because it's a public service. So I'm around the age and have enough history to have a doctor say, let's do a colonoscopy. Let's get that camera up there and see what's doing. And because for me, that is just about the last place I'd ever want any problems or cancer. I have started the process. They're scheduling me, and I went in to a colorectal surgeon for a colonoscopy consult, which, spoiler alert, ended up being more than just a consult. But usually that's done by a gastroenterologist, I guess. But I was researching and found this colorectal surgeon, and he said that's a pretty good choice because even though I only do hundreds of these a year and gastroenterologists do thousands, who do you think they call when they make a boo-boo, when they're in there, when they make an oopsie? So let's just skip them and we'll do this. So so I just want to make sure it's all healthy. I learned a few things. I told him, the first time I'd ever heard of like colorectal cancer was Farrah Fawcett, and he goes, she didn't have colon cancer. She had. Do you know what she had specifically?
She had rectum cancer.
Very close. You're getting so much closer. She had anal cancer.
Right. Well, I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah, which apparently is more considered a skin cancer than anything else, which is, I had no idea. So yeah, we're just going farther up on in there, talked about everything. And again, I thought this was just a clothing on office chit chat. No. They put you in there. They say, pull those pants down and wait for the doctor. And I said, excuse me? And I said, what exactly? Why? I really didn't know. She goes, oh, he might just check you. And I go, what does that mean? And the poor nurse goes, check your butt. So I was prepared.
You saw my eyes go, like, I was like buckwheat, like, what?
Yeah, I've talked to multiple people and they said, yeah, we don't do that at my consult. So hopefully we're all on the up and up here. But we chit-chatted and he, took the family history and we talked about everything. And then he said, okay, here's the part that most people don't look forward to, as opposed to, some people who, just make regular appointments for this. And he said, just go ahead and lay on your side and grab your knees And I said, well, this sounds like a good Friday night. And he literally, I think he's done this so many times, he incorporated a noise. He like does his own sound effects. He goes, it's going to feel a little cold and a little pressure. And I quote, it's going to feel a little cold. You're going to feel a little pressure and whoop, made the noise.
Right.
And felt around, said, feels fantastic.
All right. So Gina,
yeah,
not to get creepy, but
go for it.
Does a finger go up or what are we?
That was the whoop, literally with his finger.
Okay, because that's how they check prostate for men. You know, we get
right
all the time.
Right.
So I'm not sure what he's feeling for. All right.
Hopefully not a prostate. I'm guessing like bumps that shouldn't be there. I don't know.
Well, I think there's I've asked the doctor about it. I know with the prostate, they're feeling for, they want to, the fingers come out and they go, okay, it feels smooth. They're feeling for like jagged, or like,
okay.
Man, this whole podcast is going to be a public service announcement. And I'm glad that you brought this up.
Yeah. This is not something to avoid. I mean, this is one of those things. I just told this to my stepson yesterday who didn't get his flu shot because he pitched a fit and it was too scared of the shot. And I said, you know what I do when I'm scared? I literally, and last week I cried at the dentist. Yes, I cried. And I said, just keep going. I just hate this. So I said, if you got the flu, God forbid, and it was so bad that we had to take you to the hospital and they put an IV in, you would give any amount of money and all of your toys to build a time machine to go back and get the little shot. So I always try and think of it that way, going, let's pretend, let's time travel and pretend I'd give any amount of money to just go back and just get the colonoscopy. Well, here we are.
Okay, I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
About this whole thing. First, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag with me. The time when I should have gotten my first colonoscopy, I was going through cancer.
Mm.
And so that was mid-40s. And then after cancer, I was busy getting my life back together and found every excuse in the world to, I would go, this year, I'm going to get it. This year, I'm going to get it. And then on my 50th birthday, I was now 5 years into a relationship with Serena, maybe 6 years. And she had been nagging me every year to go get it. Right. And I would just, yeah. As a matter of fact, I put it on the schedule a couple of times. Mm. But when you're doing documentaries and, I have to go do that, and I'm traveling for that, it got knocked off the schedule a couple of times. I'm not scared. I've had every surgery in the world. I've been none of that bothers me, folks. But it was almost like I made it through cancer, and I was like, I just don't want to know.
That totally makes sense.
To explain that, it's like I'd rather live in this fucking fool's world than. And I'm the first person to tell everyone an ounce of prevention is worth 10 pounds of cure. Right. That's all we talk about in this podcast.
Yes.
Don't get fatty liver disease. Don't get type 2 diabetes. I should be the guy. I should be the poster child for getting a camera shoved up my ass. Yet I made it to my 50th birthday without doing that. And to make a long story short, I made it to my 55th birthday without doing that.
What?
I made it to my 60th year. And I'm going to tell you what made me go in. I knew this about my hero. I read it in books. Do you know who my hero is? One of my heroes. There's a lot of heroes.
I was going to say it's either Joe Bonadonna, Rosanna Dana.
That's one of them.
Or Mickey Hargitay.
This is one. Mickey was a good friend. He wasn't one of my heroes. But Mickey, I lived in his guest house. And
right.
Loved Mickey to death. But this guy, Vince Lombardi, I still live by the Vince Lombardi code.
Which is what?
If you're on time, you're late.
Mm.
When I used to go to Corolla show, I was there every time before you, Brian, and Corolla.
Correct. Always dressed to the nines with your boots and your belt and your button-up shirt, hanging outside, standing away from the smokers, chatting.
Actually standing outside with Mike Dawson, who I'm still.
I said the smokers.
Yeah, he was out there smoking, and I love having one of the smartest guys in that building.
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize that.
He's a very, very smart guy.
And Mike and I have had some really good conversations, but don't catch him when he's drunk, because that conversation is not the smartest conversation you've heard out of one Mr. Michael Dawson.
Although they're hilarious, they do lose a few IQ points.
Oh yeah, and you might hear something. Never mind. Anyway, I'm always early. As a matter, Adam has said that to me when he goes. Yeah. You remind me of Dr. Drew. It's like, I'm better looking than that guy. And he goes, yeah, you guys are always early.
Yeah.
He brought that up to me a couple of times. You and Drew. He puts me in somehow the Drew category.
Good category.
I'll take it. But everything I go, the way I run my business, I treat people the way I would want to be treated. I have a lot of employees. I don't look down on anyone. These people work for me. They're precious to me, and I treat them like I treat anyone else.
Can confirm this.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I probably treat Gina a little better.
It's true.
Maybe it's because I feel sorry for her half the time.
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi, and I knew this from reading books. He had died of some kind of colon cancer or whatever, but it's the kind of thing you forget. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching a documentary on Vince Lombardi. And Gina, look this up. I think he was in his 57 or 58 when he died. But he died of colon cancer.
Mm.
Now look, the guy was a smoker. I think there was a bit of drinking, that kind of thing. But that doesn't cause colon, but not by itself.
Yeah, it's 57.
57. How did I know that?
Mm.
But I'm watching this documentary, and it says, Vince, I'm looking at my hero, and I go, you know what? While I'm watching the documentary, I picked up my phone. I called Debbie, my doctor, not Debbie Tortorich, my doctor, Debbie. I said, Debbie, schedule me for a colonoscopy. She goes, when? I said, whenever they'll take me.
Yeah.
You call somebody that does this, and you tell them whenever they'll take me. She goes, what if it's tomorrow? I said, well, that's too soon because you got to prep.
Do the cleanse.
So day after tomorrow, as early as you can get me in, get me in. And about a week later, I went in, got it done. But, I shouldn't have waited that long. And I'm telling people, and by the way, folks, I was clean as a whistle. They, like the vegans would say, they did not find 40 pounds of impacted dead carcass in my, that's what
was supposed to be there.
That's what the vegans say. They didn't find any plastic GI Joes, so I've passed all of those. That's important. They didn't find anything, not as much as a polyp or all the meat I eat.
Yeah,
you would think they would have found something. You figure they would have found heart disease in my ass, but they didn't. Right? I'm glad I did it, and the woman says, I said, should I come back in 5 years? She goes, you can go 10 years. You have,
wow.
And you just go, just, but I'll probably check before then. And here's why. My younger brother, Frankie, has just gone through, and you want to talk about finding cancer by accident. He just finished chemo.
Mm.
And of this recording, we're doing this on a Thursday. Tomorrow, he goes in to have, they're going to cut out the section of colon where the cancer is.
God.
And they're going to sew his butt up, and he's going to have a poop bag for the bag.
He's going to have the colostomy bag.
Colostomy bag the rest of his life. He's actually happy about the colostomy bag.
Why?
Because he has suffered from severe Crohn's disease. It's about his 14th birthday. He's had a lifetime. He's had to have jobs where there could be a bathroom very close to him. And if you ask him where every bathroom is between, he drives a 20-minute commute. You ask him where every bathroom is from his house to his job,
He can tell you where everyone is, period.
I hope he and I'm not kidding. I hope he has a handicap placard because
He would never do that.
Well, if you need to go, you need to go, and you need to find parking quickly.
He would like stop his car right in the middle and just run it. I mean, when he's got to go, you know, most people you're on the clock.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's like, you know how much time you have.
There's no clock.
Yeah. There's no clock.
It's an emergency.
He's gotten out of his car, pulled his pants down, squatted.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. He's suffered. And say people with Crohn's disease will eventually get cancer.
Oh.
And he was getting checked once every 2 years.
Wow.
That's how often they were checking him, right? He would get the camera once every 2 years. He went in to get some imaging done because his prostate was expanding a bit. And the doctor wanted to do some imaging. And since the prostate is right near your colorectal,
right,
doctor's looking at it going, that's something going on in your colon. My brother is good friends with his doctor, his colon doctor, right? He called the guy and he goes, no, we just did your last check.
Yeah.
13 months ago. You're not even close. There's no way cancer can grow. He has stage 3 colon cancer.
Oh my God.
Popped up like that within a year. He had to, just like me, had to immediately go on chemo. And I'm talking, you know, the guy went to work, throwing up half the time, doing this, never missed a day. I think he told me he missed one day of work. He's been through the ringer. They had him, he had to port the whole thing.
Oh.
They were just dumping chemo in him for months.
Oh.
He just finished that. Now they're going to cut that section of colon out. And, you know, folks, don't wait around on this. Don't wait around.
Thank you so much for saying that, because now that we're at the scheduling portion of mine, I'm getting cold feet, and I gave a couple of dates, but I'm just going to pick one and be done with it. I'm so glad you said that. I felt like a big hero doing the consult, and now I have cold feet. So thank you for saying that, because that's exactly my point. And that was what I was trying to say to my stepson with the flu shot. You will wish upon trade everything that is important to you in this world, if something bad happens to you, to say, if I could just go back and have taken care of it. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And I'm so glad you finally did it, and that, thank God, you dodged a bullet. And in case anyone's wondering, this is what I was told, and you wouldn't know because you were asleep, hopefully. So the doctor said he's had like a small handful of people be like, I got this. And he goes, I wouldn't recommend it. So, you know, you get the Michael Jackson, whatever, propofol. And they say, once you're all cleaned out from all the crap you have to drink, they literally, it's just like take a deflated balloon and fill it with air. They're literally just expanding, blowing smoke up your ass, blowing air up there just to get a good picture of everything. And if they see anything, guess what? Take care of it while you're asleep. You wake up and go, oh, we got it. Or there was nothing to get. And that's it.
Yeah, they told me if they saw any polyps or anything, they would pull it out, and nothing.
That's amazing.
Here's the thing. You know, my brother told me he's had it done both ways, and he recommends, you know, awake and asleep. He goes, because they've had to do some just, you know, and he goes, you always want to be asleep. So, Gina, people told me, I'm starting to think that people are just, you know, I always talk about the pussification of this nation, and it's here. I'll worry about our military. Right?
Yeah. This comes up in the news now.
People were like, oh man. Yeah. When you go get it done, you don't feel anything. You go to sleep, you wake up 2 seconds later, but bada bing, bada boom. Oh, I had to drink this stuff. And then I said, I started. You know what? I don't know. I got the one where, you know, I had to drink a quart of the stuff.
Yeah.
They tell you to follow it with a quart of water.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you can sip it over time. So I just downed the quart.
Of course you did.
Of the stuff. And then I sat in front of television and drank the water over the next 15 or 20 minutes, another quart of that. And, you know, about an hour, you feel the rumbling.
You go,
yeah, maybe I got to go. Maybe I don't. That first time is kind of, I don't know. Maybe I got to go. Maybe I don't.
Maybe it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't think I took enough. I literally went upstairs and checked did I do this right? I started reading the packaging, right? I came back down, and as soon as I sat back down, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm way too far away.
Hang on, I gotta get back. And
as Tim Conway Jr. would say, you need a 4-point harness on that toilet.
oh yeah, yeah, easily. So you know, it was a couple of hours of I think I'm done, and then, oh wait, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've never had have you ever had a enema? I've never, like they go to the spa and do one of those fancy. I've never done that.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I mean, you did live in LA for a really long time, and you did train a lot of celebrities. So maybe you have had one.
I'm going to admit something I thought I'd never admit on this show. I tried it once in 1985 or 86.
Way before it got popular and trendy.
Oh, it was popular in Aspen that summer.
Okay. And
I was hanging around with my clients were a Hollywood group, and they were all shoving coffee up their ass.
Oh, the caffeine enemas.
The coffee enemas. One, Mr. Joy Santo Piedro, who was married to Vanna White, but they weren't married at that time because, I don't know, there were some rumors.
Oh.
Anyway, at any rate, Mr. George Hamilton.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Anyway.
Whoa.
I was goofing on these people, and they're like, don't knock it until you try it. I tried it, and I'm going to be honest with you, I still prefer to drink my coffee. I didn't get what was going on or why I was doing it. They said, don't you feel more energetic? I don't know, I was feeling energetic before I started doing this. But I tried it along with a bunch of other people, and it was one of those things where I went, okay, now I can tell people emphatically that this doesn't work. But here's the deal. Around that same time, it became popular, I want to say in the 80 or 82 Olympics. Which ones were in, was that 84? Yeah, that would coincide. 84 was in Los Angeles, right?
I'll look.
I think it was 84.
Okay.
Because that's when the 7-Eleven team, we decided we needed a velodrome, and 7-Eleven was like, we'll build the velodrome out. That velodrome still stands. It's on Balboa in the valley.
What?
The big velodrome was out right off of Balboa, right in the valley. Like,
I had no idea.
Yeah, that velodrome is still being used. 7-Eleven built it. It was called the 7-Eleven Velodrome.
Yeah, 84. You're right.
Okay, that's all right. So that's when athletes started deciding, wait, because caffeine isn't ergogenic.
Stimulant.
Well, it's a stimulant, number one. But number two, it causes your brain to take pain down, even though, so you don't perceive pain at the same level.
Really? I didn't know that.
Aerobics or anaerobics, right? It lowers your perception of the amount of pain you're in.
I had no idea.
Now, it can also dehydrate you at high levels, but athletes figured out, wait a minute, if we just squirt it up our butts, just make a hard concentration of coffee, like really, really, like brew it.
Like an double espresso.
Well, brew it and then brew it again, or do big pot of espresso or whatever. The more caffeine you can get, the better. And they would squirt it up their butts. And the idea was to hold it for as long as you can.
My nightmare.
So they would just sit in the locker room next to the toilet, or sit on the toilet, just keeping it in there for minutes at a time, several minutes. And then when they couldn't hold it anymore, blow it out. But by then, your bloodstream was picking up on the caffeine and the flavonoids and everything else from coffee, right? So that's when the IOC, the Olympic Committee,
governing committee,
International Olympic Committee, decided that if you were caught with more than 325 milligrams of coffee, so if an athlete wants to drink coffee in the morning, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're not going to get more than 350. Even if you drink 2 or 3 cups, it's always going through your body. And
right.
But it is considered a drug that you can lose your mettle over if you're caught with too much caffeine. Now, no one's ever been kicked out for that.
But it's on the books.
It's on the books.
Wow.
And of course, the George Hamiltons and the Santiago Pedros of the world figure this out. And next thing you know, every ingenue in Aspen was getting coffee squirted up their ass that summer. I wish I could make this stuff up.
I 100% believe you.
Look, as you know, I've been around Hollywood for a long time. Even
Yeah.
before I moved to Hollywood, I didn't just show up.
Right.
Right. These people in Aspen that I was training every summer was like, you need to come to LA.
Yeah, you were already networking.
Yeah, I didn't know I was networking. I was just making a living in the summer while hanging out in Aspen.
Well, that's what I mean. You were already making those connections.
Yeah. And then when I got to LA, nobody returned my phone call, by the way. That's the way that worked.
Yeah. You're just you're their good time buddy over, when they're on the slopes.
Yeah. Or, I was there in the summer mostly and, took them all hiking and, trained them over at the Aspen Club. That was before they had trainers. Trainers didn't really exist.
It was just Richard Simmons at that point, probably. Seriously.
Yeah,
Or
but he
Susan
wasn't a
Powder.
trainer. He was doing, no, Susan Powder wasn't around. She came around in the 90s.
Yeah,
Richard,
and I guess I don't even mean trainer with Richard, just a leader. Like
right, well, Jack LaLanne, people who were doing that was just doing it, on television.
right. Yeah.
And I dated one of the early fitness queens, Karen Voigt, who introduced spinning to the world. People don't realize that Johnny Goldberg, also known as Johnny G, was the guy who invented the spinner. It was stolen from him by Schwinn. And the Johnny G, that's what Schwinn used to call the spinner, Johnny G spinner.
What?
That's how the spinner got started. Johnny Goldberg was a long distance cyclist like me, but before me, and he realized that he was going to get killed at night. So he figured out if he could put a big flywheel heavy enough and then somehow damp it down so that you can make it feel like outdoors. He invented that. And then, Schwinn basically said, oh yeah, we'll make a deal with you, Johnny G spinner and the whole thing. And then basically, again, fitness people who get bad deals because they don't get attorneys to read their deals, just like the aforementioned Susan Powder,
right,
and everyone else. And but Karen Voigt was one of the early.
She was cute. I just looked her up.
Yeah, she looked a little bit like a better looking Helen Reddy.
Oh wow, deep pull and good observation.
Yeah,
that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm here with you, and I'm loving where this conversation is going. I can't get the coffee enema visual out of my head. Now I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
First of all, you probably have never done it, so you wouldn't have firsthand experience. But for the athletes who would hold it as long as they could, or like the super concentrated, couldn't that give you like a nervous breakdown just having that much caffeine in your body? I mean, do you feel like the jitters? I mean, that would give me a panic attack. I'd have a heart attack.
I don't know because I didn't, I don't even know if I did it right because I didn't hold it that long.
Did you have it supervised or did you do it like in your own bathroom?
Well, they told me what to get. I had to get a little squeezy thing, and when I went to the Aspen drugstore, they're like, yeah, people have been coming in and asking for those things. I'm like, do you have one left? So, yeah, that's what I used.
Okay, so this was either before or maybe you just didn't have access to because you didn't need to, before like the harp playing cucumber water med spa where you lay on the table and somebody else is in charge of turning on the knob and all that kind of thing. Yeah,
it was also the time of colonics, which I don't agree with.
That was the word I was trying to think of, not enema, colonic.
Right. The colonic became a big thing and they were talking about that a lot. I was like, oh, it just cleans you out. I'm like,
yes.
I don't think we're supposed to be cleaned out like that. Right. And as it turns out, I was right because as I said in my book, but I also said it back then because usually I say things years before I ended up putting them in a book. It's like, if I was supposed to have a hose up my ass, I'm sure there would have been a spigot. But there wasn't. So I'm not going to put a hose up my ass. And it just doesn't seem like, a healthy thing to do. And it takes out, all the stuff, we have stuff there that
The
is supposed
flora.
to be there.
Yeah.
Flora and fauna. And, now we talk a lot about gut health and everything else. We're supposed to have, our microbiomes. That's all part of the game, right? We're not supposed to be wiping this stuff out.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
But no pun intended, to bring us full circle, the only time where you absolutely have to is before a colonoscopy, or they will not do it. If you're not totally cleaned out, they will not proceed.
Right. Right. And look, I was completely cleared out that night, because when you basically eat meat and dairy and eggs, there's not a lot of other stuff to come out. I mean, after like the first 2 or 3 times, not to get graphic, I was just pissing water.
Right.
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 And I was taking my own electrolytes, and just to be, I was taking them, I would just open them and put them in water. I even put it in that first round of water, the water I was drinking, and I never got the headache or anything. You feel lightheaded, and people go, "Oh, you feel so light and so clean." It's like, no, you're feeling lightheaded because you're clearing out too many of your electrolytes. You have an imbalance. I never felt like that because I kept taking electrolytes in my water.
So I should be doing that, which begs the question, why aren't they putting the damn electrolytes in this thing you have to drink?
Because I think you're just pooping. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're not digesting it.
But Gina, when you do it, they'll tell you, "Oh, you can have Gatorade and this and that." No, just you have my ultrasalt, right?
Yes.
Just use my ultrasalt.
Of course I will.
And like I said, just to make sure, even though those little gelatin things wouldn't show up because they're in gelatin,
All right. Right.
my capsules are made of, I empty them into here anyway, right? I have electrolytes in here right now. I'm showing her a 40-ounce jug that I carry around all day, and
So there's no problem with opening the capsule.
No, that's I do it all the time. Just
Okay.
I pop them open, and if you put them in, when I hit my water with the Soda Stream, when you have gas in your water, it suspends more of the electrolytes, so you don't have to work it up every time to drink it. It just
yeah, right.
in
Yeah,
the water.
You know what I've done, or what I've done to Andy's my husband Andy, when he uses them for his marathons, which he's going to be doing the LA Marathon next year. I use my coffee frother, so I make sure it's nice and wound up, and it's not laying dormant at the bottom of his cup.
But salt is heavy, and it'll go right to the bottom.
Yeah,
So you could just shake it and then drink. That's fine. But I like to do the version of I hit it with the gas.
Smart.
And that's just the way I rock and roll.
Well, I think we should definitely pat ourselves on the back for this service announcement, because I will also say one of the main reasons it was on my plate to do this was because I was listening to a podcast, and this woman, I wish I could remember her name, had colon cancer, and said, like, if this podcast makes one person go get checked, then I'm glad I did it. And I was like, you know what? Here, I'm your one person. So now we're going to say that if talking about this makes one person go do what they're supposed to do, then we did our job.
Yeah. And don't do what I did.
Yeah.
I'm admitting to something that I am not proud of. That's how easy shit can get away from you. 1 year becomes 10 years. Right?
Yeah.
You can always make an excuse. Oh, I got this, I got that. Come on. You only got one life, and when that's gone, it's gone. Folks, Gina Grad's got more than one life. She's got several lives. She's on another podcast with Brian Bishop called The Brian and Gina Show. It's the official show of LA Magazine.
That's right.
And I'm a fan.
Thank you. We do that every week. It's a lot of fun. We've had great guests and just great conversations ourselves. So please check that out. Also, new to Vinnie's radar, I have another Instagram account, which I've been really excited about and working on and proud of it. I have a book called My Extra Mom available on Amazon, which is about being a stepmom. The My Extra Family Instagram account, I have tons of stuff on there. It's a great resource for parents, especially step parents, but parents of all types. So please follow me there, interact with me there. I promise it won't lay dormant. I'm really got a lot of great content. My Extra Family on Instagram.
I'm going there right now.
Thank you.
I'm clicking the follow button.
Oh, good.
And I
Oh,
see,
I just got a notification, so thank you.
yeah, I see some very cute pictures of you, and
Lots of videos, lots of tips, and just I really want to help foster this community, which frankly I think is underserved.
yeah. So boom, I'm now a follower of Gina Grad's My Extra Family, all one word. So go check that out on Instagram, and go get the book, My Extra Mom.
Thank you.
You know what to do with me. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. It puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. I have a lot of exciting stuff coming up that I'll be telling you guys about next Monday on the show with Anna. Do not miss next Monday's show. I will be talking about something. There's a new thing I'm doing, and I'm very proud of it. I've been working on it for weeks, if not a little over a month. But it was an idea I came up with, and I'm putting together a group, and you guys might want to be part. Gina, you'll hear about it. You know what? I'll talk about it with you.
Great.
Week after I break the news with Anna Vocino on Monday. We can talk about it. So on behalf of Miss Gina Grad, I don't know why, but this song, because we're talking about cameras up the butt, this song came to mind.
No.
So on behalf of Miss Gina Grad, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with Steely Dan's Peg. Yeah, you can smile.